Coming up, we'll give you our first thoughts and impressions on Toothsome, Chocolate Emporium, and Savory Feast Kitchen at Universal CityWalk. Walk. Live from the Bob Varley studio in Orlando, Florida. This is the Universal edition of the Diz Unplugged. This is episode 97 of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. The Diz Unplugged Universal Edition is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travels. Travel.
Good Lord.
Experts at helping you plan the perfect vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. I am your host, Craig Williams. Today, I am joined alongside by Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
In the back on the controls, Oliver Green.
Hello.
And the reason why I was laughing and slightly nervous and flustered during the intro, well, the first screw-up, that was my fault. The second screw-up then was because I was watching a dancing act happen on a computer that's in front of me. And right now, I would love to announce who it is, but... whoa! There we go. Oh, you just muted it, Oliver. No, that one.
The audio is all breaking up, and I'm seeing hands. And
hey,
things in front.
There we are. There we are. So we are also joined live from Milan, Italy, with Pete Werner.
Buonasera, everyone.
Yes. So... how are you doing, Pete? How's the trip going so far?
So far, so good. Got in here early Tuesday morning after a long but very enjoyable flight. And right now I am sitting at a little street-side restaurant outside the Park Hyatt in Milan where I'm staying. And it's an absolutely incredible hotel, incredible city. Been doing a lot of walking around the last couple days, doing a lot of shopping. The last couple of days, so it's really nice. I'm excited because tomorrow starts our Adventures by Disney trip in northern Italy, and really excited to see a lot of those sites, especially around the Alps and over in Switzerland. So very excited.
No, it's very awesome to actually see and hear from you. I know we tried to get you on Tuesday on the Disney World show, but you were busy running around Milan, so hopefully maybe next week. But I guess this is a good incentive for people to actually tune into this show for once to get the chance to see you.
Just that one time.
Your audience numbers aren't that bad, Craig.
Yeah, no, we haven't jumped the shark yet, but one day. So not to bring it down a little bit, but I know a ton of people have been asking on the boards as well as in YouTube comments. Everything is okay in Milan from the earthquake in Italy, correct?
Everything is fine. John, Kevin, and I are fine. We are several hundred miles away from that awful event. The devastation, though, it's really really profound. I think as of this morning, the death toll was near 300, and the city was pretty much leveled. But yeah, I didn't even know what had happened until I woke up Wednesday morning, and Facebook and email and everything was kind of going nuts. And but no, we're all fine. We're all fine. John and Kevin, I believe John and Kevin are getting in tomorrow. They were on a cruise, Mediterranean cruise, so they were nowhere near it. And like I said, Milan is a few hundred miles away from the epicenter of the quake, so we felt nothing here. So, but no, we're all good.
Good. No, that's very good to hear. So, been doing anything of interest that's extremely fun so far?
Well, the big thing for me right now has been getting a chance to go see Da Vinci's The Last Supper, the fresco of The Last Supper, which I'll tell you, I'm not an art person per se, but I'm not one of those people who'll go to an art gallery and sit there and look at things. I'm too short attention span for that. But this piece was absolutely breathtaking. It was so beautiful. And I mean, you hear about it and you're kind of thinking of a painting, and it's not. It's the entire wall of this church is this massive, massive fresco. And you're looking at it, and you're realizing it's one of the most famous pieces of art ever created. I feel just very fortunate that I got to see that, and I've gotten to see all with Adventures by Disney, for that matter. I've gotten to see the Mona Lisa at the Louvre. I've gotten to see the David in Florence. Gotten to see the Pieta in St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. And it's nice again traveling. Even though right now I'm not with Disney yet, traveling with Disney. I tell you, the difference between traveling on my own and traveling with Disney is night and day. Much rather travel in the Disney bubble. I'm very excited to meet our guides tomorrow and check out there's no way any hotel that we're going to stay in for the rest of this trip is going to match the Park Hyatt. If you're coming into Milan, there is really no place better to stay. The service here has been absolutely mind-blowing, and my standards for that are pretty high. So for those to be exceeded really say something. So this is a wonderful, wonderful hotel. It's a wonderful city. We're right next to the most amazing shopping. The Galleria di Emanuele II, I think it's called. And all the big names, Louis Vuitton, Prada, Gucci, are all Armani are all here. And it's all over the city, but it's a great shop.
Oh, very, very cool. So I guess it's the best way to travel until we eventually see Adventures by Universal coming, most likely never. But
yeah, I'm guessing not. I'm guessing Universal's not gonna cross that bridge. At least not yet. Maybe if they open a theme park here in Milan.
I'm sure you would be the first in line to show up.
I really actually would love, and this happens every time I travel in Italy. I'm always thinking about, okay, when is the next time I can get here? It really is a gorgeous city. I'm absolutely in love.
Oh no, I know.
But I miss you guys. Something awful.
Well, we miss you too, and I think I speak for all of us when we say we hope that we'll all get the chance to go to Italy someday. Minus Rhino. Rhino doesn't need to go.
Person.
No.
Rhino doesn't.
Italy. Craig is not allowed in Italy.
Listen,
no gingers allowed.
No gingers allowed.
My allies were in Italy. Thank you very much. It's an inside joke.
It's an inside joke, and we're not going to let it go any further at all. Unless you want a lot of email.
No, I don't. Not this week. Not while you're gone. So
it's funny though. I will tell you the number of gingers I have seen around the city have been like striking. Like really enough that it really stands out. That all this like shock of red hair running around. Also, the most beautiful men in the world in the city. Oh my God!
Hey,
wow. No, that's kind of weird. Usually we burn in good sun conditions, so.
Yeah, and it's been warm. It's been actually, the weather's been gorgeous, but it's been very, very warm, surprisingly warm.
Good.
So
the weather here has been awful. So
I would like
the air conditioner is fixed in the studio. I don't think we ever updated that, so it is fixed where
that's the only reason I would phone in. I won't even phone in if there's no air conditioning.
He said the air's broken. I'm going to Italy. See you guys later. Good luck. Enjoy the week.
Enjoy being warm.
Yeah. I would like from Italy a nice new bracelet and an Italian stallion. Whichever one you can grab on the street, I'm happy with.
Have you made a shopping list, Rhino?
You know what? I actually went out yesterday and I bought these guys some really nice.
Oh, don't tell us.
Souvenirs.
Okay.
Souvenirs that anybody watching this would give their left arm to get. Okay?
Don't take his left arm. That's the one he wants to put his bracelet on.
Because of that comment.
Yeah, that is the one to put my bracelet on.
Because of that comment, I am taking Rhino's back.
It's okay. I'll steal Oliver's.
Correct. And there'll be something for Oliver. Because they're not sitting there putting in their Christmas list. They want me to put that. Okay? Okay.
And finally, we have revealed Rhino's true self on this episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition.
I'm just asking for a good, strong Italian man to be put into the suitcase for me.
He's green with envy as much as the Hulk.
We know that Pete has the ability.
Cut to me. Do you think if I am bringing back a big, strong Italian man, it's going to be for you?
That is... Well, something
Really?
we can look at while we're at the studio would be nice. That's fine.
I've seen how much luggage you take with you. You could bring back at least 5 Italian men with the amount of luggage you take on a trip.
I'm not kidding. I have to go out and buy a third piece. I did so much shopping the last 2 days. And I'm being dead serious. It is so much less expensive for us to shop this stuff over here than it is in the States. It is so much less expensive. So, I've saved thousands of dollars in the last few days.
Well, see, here's what I'm wondering is, so the first part of The Adventure by Disney starts in Italy, right?
Correct.
Okay, so who's going to come back with more Louis, Pete or Kevin?
That's tough. I think Kevin's already been shopping on the cruise.
But I think Pete has... this is his first time in a while, and he's got that Louis taste.
Not to mention, you've now just turned it into a competition, so now there's going to be no Louis for anyone anymore.
No, Kevin and I are very supportive in our shopping habits. We text each other pictures of what we just bought, and we're very supportive of one another. We don't. No, that's mutually assured destruction. A competition for shopping. That's. First of all, I'd have a real problem with John because I've already gotten that talk. Will you stop it already? He's spent enough. This is just wonderful. I'm so happy to be here. And, I miss home and I miss you guys, but if I'm not going to be there, this is a really nice place to be. So I'm very grateful that I get to do this. Very, very grateful I get to do this.
Now, again, we all miss you very much here. Mm-hmm. So your presence not being around the studio has been felt. So, and I know everyone in chat misses you too.
Don't worry, I drove your cars up and down the driveway.
Have you taken the car I told you to take, Craig?
No, not yet. So it's been a busy week. We've been running around like crazy. So hopefully the weekend. I'll be able to relax on the weekend.
I'm going to finish my dinner, and I'm going to let you guys get on with your show. So thanks for letting me come in and say hello. Feels good to connect. And hope you guys have a good show, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. No, thank you. We appreciate it. So thanks for joining us, Pete.
Enjoy your dinner.
Have a good day, Pete.
Bye. Okay, everyone. Well, that was a little special surprise that I know you all weren't expecting, but I hope you appreciated it nonetheless.
A little Italian love. It makes the show that much more fancy this week.
If only he would have been at Portofino, then it just would have tied into Universal even much better. But not today. So yes, to recap for those of you who forgot what we are actually talking about in today's episode, we are talking about the toothless. Well, that's how you'll be once you leave here.
To eat our beef.
The Toothsome Chocolate Emporium and Savory Feast Kitchen.
That's a comedian. That's a comedian.
Oh, good. Guy Fieri.
Pete Holmes. That was Pete Holmes. Oh, good. Your favorite chef.
The Toothsome Chocolate Emporium, not Chocolate Factory, and Savory Feast Kitchen. So on Monday, after days and weeks and, let's be honest, months of anticipation, it finally went into preview mode. So for the past week before this one, it was in preview mode for Universal team members and management and just anyone involved with the parks and CityWalk and all that. And now on Monday, it finally opened up into preview mode for all of us to see. Right now, it's been running kind of dinner hours after 4 o'clock, so not lunch yet. And again, they have the option to start and stop service whenever they so choose to, because it is not officially grand opened yet. That will be sometime in the next couple of weeks. They said later this fall, so we can't really put a an exact time date on it because, well, they want to get everything right before grand opening. I mean, that's part of all this that we need to say up front before we go really far into this overview and our thoughts and impressions on it, because a lot of stuff can change. The menu at this point, it could still change. The way they run things, it could all adapt. I don't know the mix of how many team members are working here that have restaurant experience before, if it's a lot or if it's all first timers. I don't know a lot of those details. We will see how it all unfolds over the next weeks, but it is very, very exciting. The restaurant is absolutely stunning. Oliver, do we have a little video for those watching the video to see?
We will if you give me a second.
Sorry, I guess I didn't really prepare you for that.
Keep talking about it, and I'll see what I can.
Okay, well, so just to give people a little idea of what this is,
a little treat.
To give you a little treat on what this is about. Toothsome Chocolate Emporium is a steampunk style restaurant. It's like a chocolate factory-ish looking.
Yeah.
But with a steampunk overlay to it, and it's run by a time-traveling Professor Dr. Penelope Thibault Tinker.
Yeah, you got to swipe right when you see her.
Thibault Tinker Toothsome.
Yeah.
And her robot companion, Jacques. So basically the story is that she was off time traveling and she loves chocolate. She returns to her home and finds out that her family has also left in search of her.
Oh, I thought they were dead.
And they kind of they left each other's paths while time traveling. And so essentially she says, oh, I'm just going to sit here and wait for them to come back. And we can all reunite. So in that meantime, she has opened up this chocolate emporium where she can show off all these chocolate ideas that she has found from all over her travels and stuff. And that is how we have Toothsome Chocolate Emporium, according to the nice book that they give you, which is also a menu, but the first page is literally just this long story.
It looks like the thing they give you that is the menu looks like, if anybody's seen them, those pop-up books that they make, like the really, really fancy, intricate ones. Yes. That I can't remember the name of the guy who does them, but they did like the Wizard of Oz and all those classic ones. But I literally, as I was opening it, I thought it was going to pop up. It is not.
Barnes and Noble, that's it. Okay, so for those of you watching right now, we will show you a little video of the overview of Toothsome. For those of you who are listening, you can find this at youtube.com/wdwinfo. Take it away.
Oh my goodness! Hello everyone! Oh, I feel so popular. This is overwhelming. Well, I can introduce myself. My name is Professor Dr. Penelope Thibault Tinker Toothsome. Welcome to my emporium.
Wow. Well, that was a look at Toothsome Chocolate Emporium, and also an insight to what happens when Oliver does not do his job
Earlier
correctly.
on, I specifically said, like, photos, meaning, oh, do you want the video as well? And you were like, yeah, photos.
We always do the video if we have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We always do.
I'll keep that in mind from this point.
Yep. I hope this has been publicly embarrassing enough for you, sir.
Every show is, Craig.
Good. Very good. Okay. So let's start off before we go into our full thoughts and opinions on the restaurant. Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
I am right here.
Not you, Rhino. We'll talk about the other elephant, the whole $40 million lawsuit against Universal Orlando right now over Toothsome Chocolate Emporium. So basically a guy in Ohio said that he trademarked the restaurant, The Chocolate Factory, in 2014, that he met with Universal all the way back in 2008 about this style of restaurant coming to Universal, and that he came up with the idea originally all the way back in 2003, and he is seeking damages because of it, because clearly he believes that Universal listened to his ideas and then basically stole it, adapted it on their own, and then gave him none of the credit for it.
Here's the thing, though. If you go to the bottom of that article...
I know.
Okay. It sounds a little like... I'm not doubting all of this guy's story, but it seems a little like... It sounds like when my mom talks about when she came up with that idea for personal bug spray repellent, and then she mad at the people who made citronella candles or those things you can wear that keeps bugs away. And I'm like, Mom, you just said it out loud. Did you really, do what you needed to do to make sure somebody didn't steal that idea? She'll tell you about it forever.
Well, the lawsuit is for multiple things. Trademark infringement, as well as breach of oral contract, breach of good faith and fair dealing, misappropriation of trade secrets, fraud in the inducement, and construction fraud, as well as other things.
Construction fraud, interesting.
Yeah, a lot of stuff there. The ones that are concerning is the breach of oral contract, as well as the breach of good faith and fair dealing. So that makes it sound like something was actually happening behind the scenes that no one was really aware of what was actually happening.
Yeah.
But in terms of the trademark, obviously he trademarked the Chocolate Factory. Back in May, Universal changed it from the Toothsome Chocolate Factory to the Toothsome Chocolate Emporium. I am going to struggle saying Toothsome the entire episode.
That's okay.
It is just, it is hard. I apologize. I'm just letting you know up front. But, they changed the name. I don't think it was necessarily because of they were worried about the lawsuit happening, as his lawyer said was the case. I think it's more because now that we've been inside, we see it's technically not a factory.
No, for sure not.
And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Universal was thinking about that, but I would walk in from the outside while it does look like a factory. Because of the setup, having the smokestacks, having stuff spinning, all of that. It does look like a factory. But then whenever you walk inside, it does not really convey that as much.
There's one or two pieces that would kind of hint towards maybe it being some sort of a factory. But honestly, there's not enough there for you to go, this is definitely a factory. It's just one or two cogs that move. It's not... There's not enough theming there to, sell it, to be honest.
I honestly thought when I first heard there was a lawsuit that it was Willy Wonka's, whoever owns the rights to that, suing them. And I was like, that's the one who's going to do it, obviously, because that somebody could sue that guy and be like, dude, you stole this idea from the book or the movie. I don't know. It seems too general of an idea at this point, you know?
I mean, you can argue that, there's gears and it all is very steampunk, but that it looks factory because it is steampunk, and that is a case.
True, that is true.
That's part of steampunk is all of that crap.
The machinery, yeah.
It's the machinery, so I think that's why you would want to almost call it a factory. But they while they make chocolates for the restaurant, and while they do obviously have in-house chocolatiers doing stuff, so we were able to watch some chocolate items being made. Everything is not made in-house right there. I don't think there's any place at Universal where absolutely every little bit of it is made in-house. The same thing goes with Disney. Not everything is 100% made on Disney property. I know if people find that hard to believe from times to time.
I feel like more of it isn't made on property than is.
Yeah. But regardless, all of that, there is the lawsuit happening. Who knows what will come of that? I think, if there were dealings that no one knew about happening behind the scenes, I think you might have something to stand on, but that should not affect us in any way on how we feel about the restaurant itself.
I agree.
In my opinion. So let's finally get down to the brass tacks. And I want to start with the theming. How well did you feel that the theming was carried out throughout the entire restaurant?
I thought it was excellent. I mean, from the second you walk in, it's very much... I don't know, the gift shop was more extensive than I thought, I guess, and the story of what's going on is very present everywhere. Like when you go into the gift shop and you go to the right, there's actually a spiral staircase that goes up, and there's things on every stair. And then if you go upstairs into the bar area, into that area of the restaurant, there's also like a room up there, and that's supposed to be Penelope's room. Yeah. But it's like an area that you could clearly go down the stairs into the restaurant, and I was like, oh, this is cool. This feels like somebody is here. Like, almost like actually that area was supposed to be open and we were supposed to be able to go through there.
Yeah, this was very cool. While the theming, I'm not a huge steampunk fan, to say the least. But I feel like the theming was carried out throughout the entire restaurant for the most part. And these places where, like Penelope's room, and then even in that upstairs bar where they had like pictures and kind of steampunk items throughout, I felt like the theming was detailed enough that you could actually come to this restaurant for two reasons. One, to obviously try the food and the drinks and the desserts and all of that good items. But then it was just visually interesting walking around in there and finding some of those trinkets and toys. And then the fact that they actually right now have the two characters walking around, Penelope and Jacques. I think that's a clever addition. I don't know how long they'll last. I don't think they are going to stay throughout the entire run of the restaurant. It seems like one of those things that's a good idea while it's first opening up to have them. I just can't see how they will continue along the path of it. We didn't get to interact with Jacques. He was supposed to come around to our table, and the stupid robot never did.
It was very disappointing because he was actually like a very interesting character to look at. You could tell it was like, I don't want to ruin the magic, but it was a human dressed up in a suit. But the suit was so detailed, it was unbelievable, and they really committed to that character. And I'm tempted to say that the performers at this restaurant were on par with Disney performers because is it Penelope? Was that her name?
Yeah.
Penelope. She committed to that character 100%. She knew her backstory. The interaction she was having with us on an individual basis was absolutely fantastic. And the interaction she did with a group of people, she was able to address a crowd and really tie that in. I was very, very impressed with the character performers there.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. So
it was weird though, because Jacques came out to the table right to the left of us, and then I could see Jacques over to the right of us, and I think the Penelope was like, "I'm tired of talking to these people. Don't go over to this table again," because we'd ask her a million questions when she came over.
But I mean, we wanted to interact with her. It's a cool character. I wanted to get her on camera as much as possible, explaining things. She wasn't really having any of it, especially the first Penelope.
There was two.
In terms of, this is something to mention in terms of people wanting to carry the story over. At Disney, usually you wouldn't have this issue with especially several types of characters. I don't want to get too far into it, but basically within minutes, we were introduced to two different Penelopes.
I think there was an upstairs and a downstairs.
Still,
if you have two Penelopes walking around the same time, which are they time traveling right at that time?
Yeah,
are we crossing paths?
We don't know how the time streams work.
No, I don't know, but The theming, I think it stands on its own. It's something cool enough to see. Let's get into the nitty-gritty, the reason why people would absolutely want to come here, and that is the food and desserts. And we are going to start with the perhaps most controversial aspect of this restaurant, and that's the milkshakes. There is 2 different ways to get milkshakes. Either a milkshake bar,
That's
located
downstairs.
right across, downstairs, located right across from the gift shop. And then there is also you can order milkshakes off the menu as you are sitting down to eat your meal. The milkshakes have been, since they first leaked online, the milkshakes have been known for being extremely high priced. We're talking they start at $12, which is, for a milkshake, that's very, very expensive. That's like Disney prices for actual milkshakes. So I still had somewhat high hopes for these milkshakes going into it. But the one thing is they do have a lot of varieties. They had 13 different milkshakes that you could choose from, all very ornated. If you get the ones from the to-go counter, you also get it in a plastic mason jar style looking cup that has a Toothsome sticker on it, so a little souvenir to it. If you get them upstairs, it's in a glass one. You don't get to keep that anywhere in the restaurant. If you sit down to have it, you don't get to keep it. It must stay there. But some of them, like there is a brownie one that comes with an actual brownie on top. There's
there's a red velvet one,
for example, I had the bacon brittle milkshake, and that one came with not only a piece of candied bacon, but also a piece of chocolate-covered bacon on top. So they are very extravagant in how they top them. Portion size is decent, but the main concern with these milkshakes has been how long they actually take to get to the table once they're ordered. So there were reports that downstairs at the to-go bar, I know Orlando Informer was saying this specifically, that it was taking over 30 minutes to get a milkshake after ordering.
Really? Wow.
Yes, and they were one of the first people to actually order shakes, and it was still taking like a half an hour to actually get it. And then not only that, but management was also very, very tense with how they were handling the situation. I didn't see this. We had nothing.
This is
but
downstairs while we were upstairs
at the milkshake bar.
Okay.
No, they were there before us.
Oh, okay.
Because the milkshake bar and all that opened up much earlier.
Okay.
Than we got there. I will just say, from our experience with the managers and wait staff, everyone we met there, it was extremely wonderful. We had a very pleasant experience.
Person at all. If anything, the girl, even the girl downstairs who kept saying sorry about the wait, and I was like, we've been waiting for like 10 minutes since you started seating people. You can stop telling us that now. Like, it was almost like too friendly, Like,
yeah. So they had a bad experience. I know other people had a bad experience.
That's too bad.
It was not just us. It then kept continuing over, I guess, Tuesday night and Wednesday night. It got bad to the point, I guess, last night, I read it several places, including Twitter, that they actually stopped serving milkshakes on the restaurant floor because of how bad.
Oh, so they only
were
had
with
them
it.
for the to-go.
Yeah.
Well, somebody else we saw, Panda was there, and he was saying that when they ordered their milkshakes at the end of the meal. We ordered ours at the beginning.
And
they were saying by the end they were, And so I don't know. And I even said when we got our milkshakes, they felt very milky. Yours was a lot thicker than the two of ours, but I hate you.
Soundbite.
Great. But it felt like maybe ours had been there for a little bit, and then they topped it and sent it out, which was fine for mine because it was the Cinnamon Toast Crunch one. So
you had the Cinnamon Fantasy
the
milkshake.
Cinnamon Fantasy, and it was like drinking a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, after you've eaten it and you take the bowl and drink it. I liked it, but it, you can see it here if you're watching. It was. I just wish it was a little more to it. It felt like it had sat out maybe for a little bit, but that whipped cream, even by the end of our meal, was still holding its strength.
Which was
it's homemade whipped cream. I think.
No, the milkshake itself, while it did get runny, we both agreed that it was like drinking the milk out of your Cinnamon Toast Crunch after it's all finished. I preferred your milkshake compared to the candied bacon one that I had, or the bacon brittle one.
I preferred mine to Oliver's too,
While the candy brittle was delicious on top, as well as the chocolate covered bacon. I think the milkshake that I had,
Dare you say it?
Yeah, the milkshake that I had, dare I say it, was almost too much bacon. And I'm one of those people who's obsessed with everything. I even love the maple bacon Pop-Tarts that you can buy. It was just almost too much bacon.
See, I had yours, and I felt like I tasted a little bit more mapley than bacon. But you drank. I only had one sip, so that's a difference between one sip and drinking a mason jar full of it too. There was definitely stuff in your milkshake, though.
And I believe Oliver had the key lime pie shake.
Certainly did. It was, for me, it looks so extravagant. I mean, they all did. It had a slice of key lime in the top, as you can see there, if you're watching, dressed with the actual lime on the side. It looks a lot more impressive than it tasted. It wasn't limey enough for me, and I know Rhino tried it, and we agreed on that. And a milkshake, when you're paying that much for it, and it looks like that, you expect it to be a lot thicker, and it wasn't. It was only slightly thicker than the consistency.
It almost tasted like maybe they'd only put like the one scoop of key lime in, and then the rest was vanilla. You know what I mean? It felt like it got diluted.
Yeah, it was like the milk you get out of the jug almost. It was honestly, and I will get another one again because this was this was a preview, so I honestly think they're going to tweak.
Well, I want to try the other flavors too. There were plenty of flavors to choose from. Yeah,
there was, but I would say at this point that was probably the biggest disappointment for me, the milkshake.
It's hard too because when we first started reporting about this, that was the first thing The first thing I remember reading about is that specific milkshake, and I was like, I'm getting that milkshake because it has the slice of it. But Oliver likes key lime just as much as I do, so I went with the cinnamon toast crunch one, the cinnamon fantasy, and there's a part of me where I think I should have went with the peanut butter one. But, that's something for next time. But at least there are more flavors, and I'm still willing to try another one. So it wasn't bad enough that I'm like, never again will I get one. However, for $12, I don't feel like I drank a $12 milkshake.
It is still in preview mode. We will continue to say this multiple times throughout. So none of these opinions, we need to take this all with a grain of salt while we are doing. That's why I know we're throwing around the word review here and there and all that, but that is solely, of course it's kind of a review based on principle, but this is a review that will change with time. It is far too early to really sell this restaurant as great or bad.
Well, even when we get into the menu, you'll see that it's a split almost. Like there's no way we could do everything in one sitting. So even good or bad, it still warranted us. We're going to have to go again.
Yeah, I know right now amongst the blogger world of all of us right now, the worst part of this place is the milkshakes in general. All I can speak for is our experience. While we weren't very impressed with what we got out of the milkshakes, especially for the price, we did not have the issues with waiting. I think we only waited maybe 15 minutes to get our shakes. It wasn't bad. Maybe 20.
Yeah, I think it was a little longer than what you would expect for a thing that you consider like it was the first thing we ordered. And I don't think they came until after our appetizers had come because our appetizers got placed down and the milkshakes got placed down at like the same time. But we also ordered the appetizers in 2 different phases. Yeah. So it did take like a third visit from the waitress before they came there. It was kind of like right when I started to think this has been too long. That's when they showed up.
Yeah. But it generally wasn't that long. As working in a place where you had to make milkshakes before. Yeah. I know this place, that's a big selling feature of it. But so was the restaurant that I worked at, the diner that I worked at, was their milkshakes. And I can tell you, it freaking sucks making milkshakes.
Oh, well, the problem is once you mix it, too, if you're using like the Frap machine or whatever, there's it's not always like a perfect thing. Yeah, and sometimes you have to add and go back and do it again. Sometimes you've made it too, you know what I mean? And I'm sure this being the preview night too, they want everything to be and look perfect. I'm sure there's a lot of that.
It's why I also hate going to Starbucks whenever you just want a coffee and everyone in front of you is ordering a Frappuccino. Yeah. Because they're spending all their time making those and they can't just pour your freaking coffee. Yeah. But all that aside, let's move on to the actual food. You can decide for yourself on the milkshakes. I think they'll lower the price eventually on some of them.
I think if they even came down to just like $2 less, like $10, I'd still be. I'd get it again. To be honest with you, I think I would probably actually pay the $12 again to get another one.
I think a lot of people will. I think a lot will. The food, I would definitely try again. So let's go with the apps. First, we tried the chocolate almond bread, the warm chocolate almond bread. This is kind of their signature dessert. Instead of giving bread with lunch or dinner service, they offer this as an appetizer for $2.95. It's served with a salted caramel butter, and we were all blown away by this.
Yeah, and I want to preface this whole experience as like, I'm not a massive chocolate. Like, I'm not in love with chocolate. I'm a white chocolate person. I definitely don't like dark chocolate. Milk chocolate's okay, but it's just, I was a little worried when they were like, oh, chocolate bread, this is going to be too much. This was like, the bread is really good, and then it has that, like, I don't know, that taste that kind of just haunts your mouth of chocolate.
The way I would say is it's more on the cocoa side than the, like, creamy chocolate side. In your head, when you think about it, it should taste like a dessert, and it doesn't. It still tastes like bread, but with the cocoa element mixed in.
And I was thinking it was going to be in the consistency level of like banana bread. You know how that's very dense and very, and you know the word I hate, and like this was light, fluffy, and you could definitely have like more than one piece. I was thinking like, oh, we're going to ruin everything because we're about to eat basically a loaf of chocolate right now. No, this was really good, and not that expensive either. It was only like $3. It was like $2.95 for the loaf. The butter was, I loved the butter. The butter was the best part for me.
Yeah, no, I actually was blown away by this. I did get a little bit more of the desserty or taste to it than you guys did.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe I just had a sweet tooth riding that night, and that's what I was trying to get out of it. Yeah. Also for the appetizers, the next one we tried, I will talk about, is the baked brie.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like your classic baked brie that you would have at a dinner party if you're having friends over. Your brie cheese served inside of a pastry that has some type of jam in it. I didn't see in the menu what type of jam it was, as well as and I couldn't really taste it. It might have been like raspberry or something. And then served with more of the warm chocolate almond bread, as well as some like flat crisp type of bread that was not leavened, and almonds and fruit. And this was pleasant.
If you're a fan of the baked brie, like Eli loves baked brie. Like, I forget where we at a friend's house and they made it, and then he had to go back and like keep trying to make it repeatedly. And all I could think is that he would have really enjoyed that appetizer, for sure. That's his speed. Like it was very good. It's something, it's something that's not really on other Universal appetizer menus around there. So I appreciated that.
It's not on most menus. That's why it was nice. It's just it was different. I don't need spinach and artichoke dip for the 900th time. I don't need nachos at another place.
I like baked brie because it's like fluffy and warm, but it's not heavy. Yeah. And surprisingly, it's one of those things where I always think I don't like fruit with that kind of stuff, but then I have it and I'm like, it actually works really well together.
I said it in the vlog and I'll say it again. It was unbelievable.
Oh,
that's selling it a little bit too high, but it was nice to have something different. The winner of the appetizers, as most of us will agree, I think all of us will agree here, and a lot of people who had the chance to try it, including my lovely, lovely wife, was the tachos.
Oh, the tachos.
And these were amazing.
Yes, I liked these a lot. Oliver liked the surprise meat at the bottom.
Yeah, so with these, if you're watching the visuals now, you can see that they come out, and the way they're served is it's like a pile of tater tots. With like a garnish on them and a few of the is it scallion onions you call them? Spring onions they're called in the rest of the world, but scallion onions on top. Wow. And then
they're also not called scallion onions; they're just called scallions or green onions.
Okay.
One of the two.
Well,
here in this part of the world where you currently live,
I do. I'm just I'm being inclusive of the international.
You with my British Union Jack pillow.
You've got one.
I
nice
do. You've seen it in my house.
These tots have got it's pork, isn't it? If I remember correctly.
It was crispy pork belly with andouille sausage, cheddar cheese sauce on it.
That's it. And you can't see the cheese sauce so well on there, but it's you definitely get the flavor. But yeah, the meat is hidden underneath, and you really don't taste it until you get in there and like you find it. So it's actually kind of like a surprise almost. I was impressed. It tastes an awful lot better than it actually looks in the photo.
Well, the thing is, if you keep the photo up here, you can see the tater tots are almost kind of shiny if you're watching, and it's because I think what they do is they put the cheese in and then they toss the tater tots in it, where a lot of places will just put the dump the sauce on top. So I like to order tachos whenever I see them. I'm a big fan of like the potato nacho texture, and A lot of places have had them, and it's very good, but they just do it straight up on the top layer. These were tossed in a way where the cheese wasn't overwhelming, but every tater tot had it on it.
It's kind of, I can't remember what restaurant we were at. I want to say it was when we did Margaritaville.
Yeah, Margaritaville.
Where they talked about how they layered it. This was another prime example of that, where you try to get all of the flavors in every bite instead of just right in the middle on top.
And it kept them, and I think by doing this too, it kept the individual tots like a little crispier.
Agree.
As opposed to getting like too drenched. Yeah.
I ate it the next 2 days after.
Oh, did you?
It was wonderful.
That's one
really
thing
liked it.
I would definitely say as well, the fact that you managed to eat it 2 days after and all four of us were digging into that. The portion size was huge for the tots.
Yes.
I was very, very impressed. It's definitely a shareable family-sized portion.
Only $10.50 for that as an appetizer, whereas the baked brie was $12.95. So appetizers, there was still so much more. There was a lot of things on this appetizer menu. I'd say a solid probably 12, 13, 14 appetizers over the course of 2 pages. And then there was also soups, salads, flatbreads. None of we didn't get any of those. This, as we said, I believe Rhino said it before, this is a restaurant we could go to multiple times without ever repeating anything, because then for kind of your main courses, you have the choice between kind of craft burgers, craft sandwiches, entrees, pasta, and then they have brunch menus that are served all day as well. And
2 pages of that,
and if the milkshakes weren't enough for a dessert style thing, then you also have sundaes and then other desserts available too. So yeah, we skipped over the soups, salads, and the flatbreads. I will be going back for the flatbreads though, because I saw pictures and some of them looked very, very appealing.
I'll go back to do the brunch thing. There was like 2 or 3 things on the brunch menu that I really wanted.
And we'll get to the brunch.
Yeah,
we'll get to the brunch.
That's the thing is, so between the 3 of us and then Kylie joined us too, I felt like we were still ordering excessively, and I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface. All I could think is like, man, this is a place that I think Pete would have been really. He will be upset. We'll be sad he missed out with. So hopefully we can do the second round and he can come with us.
I mean, it's obvious. We are the Diz. We always try to go excessive on these things. Whenever we can. Not on the excessiveness that we did with Flying Fish over at Boardwalk, where we ordered one of everything. But we still went very excessive. So let's get into our next round of excessiveness, and that was the entrees. So we will start, I guess, with my entree, which was the wild, it was the brisket and wild mushroom meatloaf, which was then topped off with some crispy onions, some corn, served on top of garlic mashed potatoes, and a nice gravy on top of all of this. And obviously, this has nothing to do with sweets with it. This is not in the sweet section. This would definitely be a part of the savory feast kitchen aspect of this restaurant, as all of our entrees really were for the most part. So we could have went adventurous, especially with the appetizers. They had pork belly sliders that were served with a piece of chocolate covered bacon on those as well too. I know they were very popular. We really considered getting those at one point in time. But we went straight up savory for the entrees. Mine was $15.95, so very reasonably priced.
Do people really not know what tater tot means? There's a lot of people that are confused by that word in this chat right now. Apparently.
We don't have time for them if they don't know what tater tots are.
There's a French fry and a tater tot. It's a small potato square.
It's an American
not even
thing.
square, cylinder.
It's
not. Your mom says she knows what it is.
Well, she visits all the time.
We don't have time.
Anyway, sorry.
That's what Google's for. The meatloaf was very good. I did not have enough room for it by the time it got to the table, but the portion size was great for the price. I thought it was bursting with flavor all throughout. It was well balanced. I love gravy. If anything, it could have had even more gravy.
But it wasn't. Was yours regular gravy or was it that sauce?
It was like that brown, dark brown sauce.
I can't remember the name of it too.
I
said it when I was eating too, and I was like, "Oh man, this is." You said it to me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's what it is." But I can't remember now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because I made a comment about how like. Lower class, so I would put ketchup on mine,
Yeah. No, it's definitely one way to do that. I enjoy ketchup and gravy. I'm in the really sick crowd out there. I like them both. It's all good.
Liquid on your meals.
So Rhino, you kind of had a play on my dish, which yours was the
Mine was the Blue Plate Burger.
That's correct.
Yes, and that was I thought this was the most interesting looking of like the burgers and sandwiches, so that's why I had to order it. And it is a burger, so you get the patty, and then it's meatloaf, a slice of meatloaf with mashed potatoes and corn on top of that, and then I believe it's that same exact sauce here.
Yep.
We ended up in the same realm unintentionally too. I wasn't even thinking about it because I was actually thinking it was just the meatloaf without the burger.
You thought it was a meatloaf sandwich.
Yeah, I basically thought it was a meatloaf sandwich because the meatloaf thing they do at NBC Sports Grew and Brill.
Grew and Brill. Thank you.
Grew and Brill. That thing is amazing. It's a Cuban meatloaf sandwich. And so I was like, wow, I got to try their meatloaf thing here too. And this was really good too. It's a lot. It doesn't, they say like the cut of the meat is like, what is it, 8 ounces, I think? The burger
8-ounce
itself.
burger.
Yeah, so you think like, okay, well that's on the regular smaller size of a burger. And man, it's a lot though. It was a lot. I cut it into fourths and I only ate a quarter of that. And Oliver tried it.
Oh, an 8-ounce
and
burger,
Kylie
that's a
tried it.
half-pound burger.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't. Well, I don't
That's
know.
on the- that's on the
these
generous
restaurants
size
give
of
you
a
that
burger.
trough style food, so size food. But and I got the side of
You got the
chips,
Yeah.
which I think is the way to go because the fries were a little meh, but the chips were really really good. The sandwich was good too. Like I said, maybe I would have put like a little ketchup on it, but it was pretty good. I would. If I go back and I've had everything else, I would probably get this again.
It could change. It's still preview mode.
Right, yeah.
Still
but
preview.
but there's just so much to order from, and I'm one of those people where I like to take the weirdest thing and order that on the menu.
It was nice that they had craft specialty burgers on there instead of just very plain and boring. It now has joined Cowfish as well as NBC in trying to up the burger game at Universal.
But also being its own thing at the same time. Like the burgers weren't trying to imitate any of that stuff. And that's what I really liked.
Greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
And Oliver, what did you go with? I can help you if you want.
It's not mole, in case anybody is thinking it's mole. There was no chocolate ingredient in my entree at all.
It was a type of gravy, but I don't even think it was listed on the menu.
Yeah.
So Oliver, sorry, I apologize.
You're good. Let's see if I can do it from memory. I believe I had the fork and knife grilled ribeye steak sandwich.
That's
Is that
what you
correct?
had.
Fantastic! Look at that. It's like I was reading it off my phone or something.
And yours was $14.95. Rhino's burger was $13.95.
Yeah.
So yeah, mine was on the more expensive side. I imagine that's because of the cut of meat I had in there, though it was steak, and it was very good. I was impressed with it. They don't give you the option when ordering this. Sorry, I should really go into what it is. It is a sandwich that has a piece of steak in there. It's covered in sautéed onions, mushrooms, tomatoes. It has a horseradish cheese also. I will say the horseradish cheese is not that overpowering. What really dominates the taste of this burger is the onions, the caramelized onions, and it's not a heavy onion flavor like you would get with a raw onion. By caramelizing it, they really do sweeten that up, obviously, but it takes the edge off of it, and you find it complements the cheese and the burger very well. My only real critique on it is and again, this could change, but when you order it at the time, I wasn't given the option of how I'd like the steak to be cooked.
Which was surprising because they asked me about the burger.
Yeah, and they did actually. So I'm wondering if she just, it's preview, they don't know. But at the time I wasn't, and so I got it as it came. And normally I like to have my steak on the rarer side, just because that's, I find it's a lot easier to eat. You tend to get a better cut of meat if you do that. They always go for the less fattier piece, but it wasn't bad at all. Yep. The quality of the meat was still there. It really was.
I had a bite of your sandwich too. I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'd say it was on
I just thought the bun fell apart a little too easily.
Yes, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
It's tough with steak sandwiches because sometimes they do
Béarnaise sauce. That's what it was. Béarnaise. Yeah, sorry. For
sometimes they do. Sometimes they cook it on the more well side, so that way, whenever you take the bite, you're not struggling as hard. Because if it's not a fillet, you're not going to just bite into it and it breaks off like butter. So that's sometimes why they overcook it in steak sandwiches. Yeah. But it was a nice dish. I had a quarter of yours and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I would say, honestly, if I went back and they didn't ask me how it was cooked again, I wouldn't be upset if they brought it out exactly how I had it before. Rhino did remind me the only other critique I had of it was the bun. So every good burger place will always toast the bun so you don't get the juices to soak through the bun itself. You could tell they'd put the butter on and sat it on the grill, but it wasn't quite grilled for long enough so you didn't get that toasty kind of layer on there to stop the liquid soaking through. So it was just a bit on the buttery side and not quite as toasted as I like. But honestly, in the grand scheme of things, that's a very, very small critique.
It was, because that could even vary by chef.
Yes.
So before we finish on our last item, I just want to give an idea of some of the other items that you would find throughout the appetizers, the entrees, and everything else. So kind of some of the other appetizers that stuck out, I think, as we went through. They did have, Philly cheesesteak rolls. They had pork kebabs, pistachio hummus, which we were very close to trying. And then some standards like fried zucchini, onion rings, things like that. So very, very wide. The salads included a chicken salad, a Waldorf chicken salad, niçoise. That's how you say it in French, right? A niçoise? Niçoise. I don't know. They had one of those. They had French onion soup, which I saw a cup of, which looked out of this world. Flatbreads were stuff like barbecue chicken, steak and blue, forest mushroom, a duck flatbread.
I didn't see that one. Ooh.
What the duck? The sandwiches, besides Oliver's that they had stuff like a mahi, a croque monsieur, Reuben, fried chicken, BLT, burgers. They had like a super massive bacon burger, a pub burger, which sounded great because it had more of that Colby andouille queso on it. Pasta dishes. They had a gnocchi, chicken risotto, carbonara. They just a lot of stuff. And some of it even pricey because they had this filet mignon Oscar on the menu that I think Oliver deep down wanted, but he was not willing to pay that $47 price point for, which was on the high side.
I did see it though. I seen someone order it and it came out on a plate and it looked, that's the reason I wanted it. I looked at that and that was...
It looked good. Yeah. It looked phenomenal. And then, as I mentioned, the final food items was the brunch, the all-day brunch, which had different crepes, quiches, waffles, French toast, and this was some of the most appealing things overall on the menu. Whether it's Nutella and banana crepe, pretty much whatever they would do in the crepes, they tried to complement it in the French toast or the waffles, but they also got very creative with the French toast and did like a patty melt one with a burger on it, and
that's the one I wanted to try.
A country fresh French toast that had like Gruyere on it and an egg, and like just very, very good. But what we ended up going with in terms of brunch was we finished off our meal with a light berries and cream crepe, which consisted of lemon curd, fresh berries, mint, and whipped cream.
This was...
Holy crap.
So, we were all so full. This thing was phenomenal. I would eat this thing in a heartbeat again.
Oh, yeah, you could eat this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That thing in the middle. Oh, my God. The lemon cream. Oh,
lemon
my
curd.
God. Lemon curd, whatever. Oh, my God.
No, this was phenomenal. This was the best thing I think we tried. Their brunch game is on point.
Yeah.
And...
But I think we have to go back and just do a straight up brunch order.
Oh, I could go. And the prices for brunch weren't that bad. They were a little on the high side for breakfast, but I've been to plenty of other breakfast places around Orlando that are outside of the tourist corridor that are just as expensive as this.
Oh, yeah.
And they also weren't served with 2 chocolate covered strawberries on the plate as well, which was a very, very nice addition. Of course, I don't want to speak on behalf of the entire brunch menu based on this one item, but I would say they have something going based on that one in particular. I would love to go back and try like the ham one, which has ham, mushroom, spinach, fontina, cheese.
Like Homer Simpson right there.
Oh, I might have to hit it up on the way home just thinking about that one.
God, I want that berries and cream crepe so bad.
Yeah, no, it's I think very creative, a very large menu. Gordon Ramsay would want to come in here and cut this thing down to 2 pages right away, because right now, I mean, because we didn't even, I said, we didn't get the Sundays. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 different types of Sundays on top of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different desserts as well too, and the milkshakes. Like there's just
I think they're just anticipating this thing to be like packed, and they want to appeal to everybody. And honestly, I think this will be a very successful place.
I think so too. I think it has a lot of repeatability value in it, and I think it's going to impress many people as they come in the door for the first time.
I am so happy this didn't end up being a Cheesecake Factory.
Yes, me too.
This is exactly the type of restaurant that like our CityWalk needed too. Something like we've got our Mexican place, we've got the sports bar, Cowfish is cool and creative, but this is the like curveball restaurant that's not too out there that not everybody couldn't find something they like on it, you know?
Yeah, no, I know that a lot of reasons why people were having the difficulty in the wait is there is such a large menu. It's another. You mentioned Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah,
Cheesecake Factory suffers from the same exact thing. Their menu
lay down that
is
dictionary of a menu.
Only 30,000 items in it. The more items you have, the less you can get food out. That's why Disney has cut down all of their menus to such a small section.
That's also
and added a dining plan so you can turn over very quickly.
I was going to say, and that's why when a menu does have a larger selection like this, your food might take a little longer, but it's going to be a lot fresher by the time you get it because Disney narrows it down into that 1 or 2 pages. That's why you get a lot of stuff sometimes and it feels like it was made 2 days ago. And you're like, why can't I get a burger that tastes good? Why can't I get a thing that, a salad that has fresh lettuce in it? Well, because they've pre-plated this last night or the day before.
Yeah, a lot of their stuff is quantity in terms of getting food out over quality, where here you have a large quantity of items that require, maybe they only serve one of those burgers the entire night.
Right.
But because of that one burger is being made right there and then. You might wait longer. That's a sacrifice.
I'd rather do that than take the under the heat lamp one.
Yeah. So, I mean, you and I both agreed. I think Oliver did too. This is an event style restaurant. This is the type of place that you would want to bring someone in from out of town, for locals at least, if you wanted to try to impress them with something cool that they're not used to seeing other places.
Right, like when my mom comes, or like let's say my brother and he comes with his kids. Like that's a place where if we were going to pick one place to eat in that area, I mean I live right near there anyways, but I'd be like, we've got to go to this place. You've got to try this place. If we're going to spend the money to go out to eat anyways, why not make it a little bit something different that they don't have everywhere else? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
it's very unique.
Before we wrap things up totally, we kind of skipped over the cocktails and the drinks involved. And that was because we actually didn't buy anything. I did try. They have a signature beer there that is brewed specifically for the restaurant. It is a 2 chocolate stout. I believe it's probably made by Florida Beer Company that makes all of the other exclusive beers at Universal. It's a very heavy, chocolatey stout. I think it was worth a try for $8.50. I believe what's the price point on it? Maybe $8.25. It was a solid stout if you like that. If you don't like dark beers, Guinness, don't try this. It's not for you. If you just like Bud Light, get a Bud Light.
Try the mixed drinks though.
But
those are,
and that's what I was going to say. They have a very, very large list of mixed drinks that they make. A lot of them actually involving chocolate and other sweets in it. While we didn't purchase any, we were treated by a manager who saw that we were trying to do a lot of different things. He came over to our table and he nice enough. First time we ever met him. It wasn't like he knew us anything. But he surprised us and he's like, well, would you like to try some on me? And so he treated us to 3 different types of cocktails. An old chocolate fashion.
A cherry chocolate. A cherry chocolate old fashioned.
Yeah. The Wicked Cherry.
Yeah.
Drink, as well as I forget the exact name of it.
Something banana in it. But again, these drinks, like you think, oh God, chocolate. Oh my God, everything's going to be so rich or whatever. The cherry chocolate old fashioned was phenomenal. It was just the right balance of everything in it. It wasn't like, oh, here I am drinking my chocolate drink. It was just, again, like you have that chocolate aftertaste to it. And it wasn't overpowering in liquor either.
The other one was the chocolate coffee banana.
Chocolate coffee banana, yeah.
These drinks are extremely, extremely creative. They are similar to, I don't know if you've ever been to any other kind of dessert locations. I know there's one downtown that I've been to it once. I can't think of the name of it, but
the pharmacy.
And then stuff like that. I still haven't been there, but this dessert cocktails and stuff like that is a big thing that's been happening recently, and I think these were all worth all the ones that we had, they were worth giving a shot.
Absolutely.
I would go back to the old fashioned.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I can still like taste that one. They were all. They're not the normal theme park drinks. They are. They're. Sometimes you worry about ordering that mixed drink at your theme park because it's $10 to $12 or whatever, and you're like, well, I'm gonna get it, and it's gonna have less than a shot of alcohol in it. These were all, especially the Wicked Cherry, was very. We took a sip, and all of us were like, woo. They're strong. They're mixed to be the way they're supposed to be. They are straight up the drink. They're not trying to pull anything over on you or anything like that. These are that drink that you're ordering.
Yeah. And finally, let's say you want to take home a piece of the restaurant for your friends and family back home who didn't get to enjoy this. There is a way. They actually do have a selection of chocolate that you can take home in nice little containers, I believe, either 6 pieces or 12 pieces. Now, they are on the expensive side. A 6-piece of chocolate package was $15, and a 12 was $27, I want to say. So definitely on the expensive side. But some of Kylie got me as a surprise, some of them, and there was a banana rum one that was just out of this world. I don't even remember the full list of ones she gave me. A cookies and cream one, a whiskey one, very creative flavors. And like the banana rum and the whiskey, it was literally like the banana one in particular. It's like, oh, I taste banana, and then that's just a shot of rum. The whiskey was, oh, I taste chocolate and a shot of whiskey.
It's just, they're beautifully made. Yeah. They're like little works of art too.
Yeah, they are absolutely gorgeous. There's very creative flavors. Like I said, absinthe, cinnamon habanero, just all over the place. Even if you don't buy them, just stare at them at the counter.
Yeah.
You will almost be tempted in. I don't know if these were available with an annual pass discount because we didn't purchase any right then and there. But I will say that our meal was covered under an annual pass discount. I believe it ended up being 10%. I would have to check out the receipt, but for the obnoxious amount of food that we ordered, the price came out to be $137. So 3 milkshakes, 3 appetizers, 3 entrees, and 1 brunch item came out to be $137. And take that information with whatever you want and throw it away if you care to. I don't care. I really don't care. All I can say is for a preview mode, I know many people have had different opinions on this place. I will have to say that I believe our opinion of the preview mode that we experienced was very positive.
Yeah.
And I would say from what I saw personally on that first night that for the most part they have the idea right. Just need to do a little bit of TNA around not the bad one, tweaks and adjustments around the milkshake area, potentially with the service, since other people experienced bad service, which we didn't. I think our service was fantastic. And other than that, I maybe just cut down some of the menu, get rid of the bad things that people aren't enjoying or ordering. But I think they have a solid base here to make a fantastic restaurant.
I give it a lot of respect for carrying through with such a unique theme as well, like committing to it. You know what I mean? They're not even kidding. There's like a framed a big photo of some sort of I don't know if it's Penelope's parents or who it is, but steampunk photos on the wall and everything. And I don't know. I respect it for taking that risk and that chance, and I think they're going to do well.
I would say because of that, the theming that they've got and the quality of the food for the restaurants in this price point at CityWalk, this would be the place I now go. I'm tempted to say it's my favorite. I really am, for restaurants in this price point
I'd go even farther than just CityWalk. I'd say I think this is one of my favorites in that price point in all of the theme parks in Orlando.
Yeah.
I don't think Disney has anything comparable to this.
No, I agree.
No. I completely agree with it too. So, again, I will say it for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th final time.
75th.
Preview mode still. We will see how we feel about it later on, but this was at least our first impressions on Toothsome, Chocolate Emporium, and Savory Feast Kitchen. Based on this one, I would say definitely check it out if you're lucky enough in preview mode, and hopefully it will be just as good once it is in full mode. So thank you guys for chiming in with all your input. Thank you to Pete. He's not watching anymore, but we want to thank him for coming in and chatting to everyone for a little while. And, of course, thank you to everyone out there who just put up with us for the last 75 minutes. I know it was a struggle at times, but like all good things, if you have to struggle to get through it, chances are you will be rewarded highly in the end. No reward coming from this one, of course.
Just a little. Taking everyone out to the chocolate.
No, not quite that much. Just a little bit of like personal reward. Like I made it.
Tops are coming off.
But other than that, thank you.
So if you're listening, sorry.
Thank you guys so much. And of course, if you want any information on this show as well as the other shows on the Diz Unplugged podcast network, head out to disunplugged.com. That is the home of our show notes page, where you will find links and more information on the Disney World show, the Disneyland show, the Diz Pop, that show. I always forget about it, and so much more, of course. And if you are interested in any Diz Unplugged or Diz merchandise, also make sure you head over to Diz Unplugged or find us on Facebook or any of our other social media channels to find out more on how to get merchandise, T-shirts and such. I just realized that I told Corey I would put a links in the show notes for the Disney World episode, and Oliver and I forgot to do that whenever we were doing the show notes. So we'll have to go back and make sure that link is in all of our show notes page. And then, as I said, follow us on Facebook. We're at the Diz Universal. On Twitter, we are just Diz Universal. And you can always email us at uopodcast@dizunplugged.com. You know where we are. If you don't know at this point, then you're probably a first-time listener, and I shouldn't insult your intelligence like I just did. So thank you so much again. Thank you to you guys, and we will be back next time with another episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. So thank you so much, and get your sweet tooth ready, and we'll do resolutions next week. Thanks, guys.